We're live. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? We're live.
Stop. You know you're live. Just do the intro. Crying out loud.
I don't know the intro. You got the intro.
Deary me.
Get the intro.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to New Zealand Sports Radio. We're trying some new tech out, so hopefully the noise is okay, or the sound is right, is basically what I mean. Rather than noise, we don't make noise, we make sound.
Let us know in the comments if you've got sound issues. If you can't hear us.
And if so, then we'll run around trying to get some tech sorted.
Yeah.
So yes, welcome to the Super Rugby AU semi-final or elimination final review, as well as the Mitre 10 Cup Round 1 review, and Ashwin will just hit this last bit, but the Farah Cup Round 2 review, because I don't think you have watched any Farah Cup this weekend, have you?
No, because it starts like at 11 o'clock in the morning.
You have kids, okay? You're awake. Don't try and say I'm not awake.
Yeah, and those are and you got kids and they want you to do things. So sitting down in front of the TV is not really an option.
Oh dear me.
I was carving up a leg of lamb. I was butchering it.
Yes, butchering is the right word because his carving is not that great.
Well, it wasn't cooked.
Anyway, let's kick off then with the
some rugby.
With some rugby, yes. So now I missed the first half. Which was Super Rugby AU.
Oh, right, yes.
Between the Reds and the Rebels. Now, Stephen Cornflake unfortunately can't join us today. He's
you never know, he might pop up.
He might do. He's on some work stuff, but yeah, he's been telling me all season about how the Reds are better than the Rebels, and I've been telling him no, he's wrong, and the Rebels are better than the Reds. So I think the Reds just got lucky, and it was down to the Rebels getting injuries. Or is that if you sort of like believe the tweet that came, I think I saw it today, that somebody sent through today, or Facebook post maybe. It's just like, wow, it's because the rest was an ex-Reds player. Oh, well, there you go.
It's what's referred in the rugby world as the Glenn Jackson moment.
So, I know, run us through the first half while I go and get a beer, because I missed the first half.
Oh my God, hospital pass, bonfire. I got Tubo smashing me. The first half, yeah, actually quite action-packed, with the Rebels really sort of looking pretty good early on, but intercept try for Patia, and you know, things like that going wrong. Really sort of just the bounce of the ball not going the Rebels' way. Naisarani charged down and the ball runs away from him instead of sitting up. So basically, the Rebels making opportunities, not converting them, and the Reds, conversely, the opportunities they did get, they did convert. And they actually did finish stronger in the towards the end of the first half. Interesting moment, though. I mean, and it's a strange thing that happened was that first half the Rebels scrum was far stronger than the Reds, and then in the second half the Reds scrum was far stronger than the Rebels. So it was absolutely interesting, some dynamics that were going on. First half, I have to say, was a lot better than the second. I know it's racing onto it, but it's just that it was really sort of like right into it, watching that game in the first half. In the second half, I just kept drifting off because it was really a lot of errors. And I suppose as they really sort of, both teams sort of pushing for that win where it's remained close right towards the end. And I think the Reds sort of scored that try with basically after, you know, with the hooter imminent to sort of to seal it, so to speak. But it was very close right throughout the game, and I thought, yeah, it was pretty close. And both teams, not much between them at all. And I think major factor for the Rebels is the Hallett Petty, the captain, really out there when maybe he shouldn't have been. But then you can see what he delivered for the team in terms of, you know, the times when he did have the touches on the ball. He was able to actually try and create something, and it was being effective. But then, obviously, you do wonder if he'd been fully fit, it would have been a hell of a lot more effective. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably a really roughhouse roundabout way of summarising the game.
There we go. So, it's finished 25-13. As you say, 75th minute was the final try that basically put the game beyond doubt. But the Reds, in all honesty, had been ahead for most of that second half. I arrived at half-time, folks.
Yep.
Which is why I'm coming in at that point. But
you come in. How did you see the second half?
Actually, I went and got myself a beer. Did you want one, by the way?
Oh, okay. I'll go get a beer. That's right. I'll go get a beer. Don't worry.
You'll get a beer this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, unofficially sponsored.
Something about privilege or something, you know.
Unofficially not sponsored by Cooper's. So there you go. But Yeah, look, I think the Reds really had that one under control. The Rebels really huffing and puffing, but never really looked like winning the game. They were in it, don't get me wrong, and one intercept try or something along those lines could have turned it. But in reality, for my mind, yeah, the Rebels didn't really look to be in that game, even though they were close behind. He's drinking one of my beers rather than one of his beers, as you can see, because he got one of the good ones there.
So, Tui.
Pardon? Don't I like Tui? Tui or Coopers, folks? Do let us know in the chat which is the better beer, Tui's or Coopers. So yes, so next week we see the Reds heading down now to Canberra to play the Brumbies in the final, which I think is going to be a really intriguing game because, folks, we've been saying all along that the Brumbies are the most professional team, the most rounded team in Australia. But let's be blunt, they have not been performing very well recently. They've not been winning games convincingly. They have been getting results, but not by big margins. So I think actually it's an intriguing one. Do look out. Probably on Tuesday, I will put my predictions for that game out at nzsportsradio.com.
We've got a .com.
We've got a website.
We've got a website.
Yeah, nzsportradio.com is the website, folks. So do check that out. You can become a supporter of New Zealand Sports Radio on there as well. Some of the articles are behind a paywall, which is for people who are supporters of the channel. And yeah, Batman, Tui is the bomb. Yeah, well,
damn straight.
Deary me. Listen, see, Batman, that's the kind of talk that gets you banned from the channel. I'm the owner of the channel. He is very much the sidekick. Just remember that, folks. That's how that's the hierarchy here at the show.
Someone's sort of being tone deaf here. I was just saying, current climate and everything. Don't know you should be going down that path.
Pretty clear. Founder, employee.
Oh,
because I don't pay.
I think it's yeah. Could do with a check at the moment.
Founder, volunteer. Okay,
I feel he's using white privilege for you.
No, I call you a slave when I'm talking. Anyway, joking, folks. Really joking. So, getting on.
I'm feeling impressed, people.
Getting onto the Farah Palmer Cup before I get myself in the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Mitre Cup.
I can't get myself in trouble, only he can.
You can get me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I can get him in a lot of trouble. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah,
talk rugby because we've got to wrap this up because he's got to get it back to Hamilton as well.
I do. So, folks, yes. So, my 10 Cup then is the next game or the next set of games on the menu. 7 games in this one. I do feel like I've kind of let the side out. I only made it to 3 out of the 7 games today. Sorry, 4 out of the 7 games this weekend. So I do think that officially puts me at having get more games than anybody else in the Mitre Cup so far. I think I'm leading that league.
Sure, wave a flag.
Oh, dearie me, what the effort I've been putting in. Anyway, it's just damning that. So we kicked off on Friday night with North Harbour versus Canterbury up there with in some real nice conditions. Did get a bit chilly once the sun went down. But I
think it was before the sun went down, actually. Even in the sun, it was chilly.
I thought, well, sorry. Okay. Were you there?
No, I was just in Auckland.
Oh, okay. That was quite nice in the sun because obviously we were sheltered and stuff. So hi, Stephen Harris, the guy on the right. Yes, he's only spent the last 10 hours with me.
I was going to say though, but his right or our right?
No, his right.
His right. Yeah.
But we'll get on to that 10 hours later in the show. First off, then Harbour versus Bay of Plenty. That's Farah Cup. Wrong one. Harbour versus Canterbury in the Mitre Cup. Look, let's be honest. Coming into this one, I don't think any of us gave Harbour a snowball.
Oh no way. I mean, like, just give them a shot at all. But at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, because we have to rip through a lot of games, so I can race ahead and get ahead of myself in these reviews. But North Harbour's going to kick themselves after that game because really it was their mistakes that kept gave Canterbury the game or hurt Harbour's chances of upsetting Canterbury.
Because I mean, look, Harbour led the game 22-21 at half time, and they were right in it, and they stayed right in it. Really, it was really in that second half that that the Canterbury took control. But as you say, Harbour mistakes. Kicking the ball down Will Jordan's throat is not a good move.
No, but there would have been counties though if they're kicking it down Will Jordan's throat, because it would have been against Tasman.
It would. Oh dear, wrong game.
Okay, so who was the fullback for Canterbury? Anybody in the room know? But anyway, so he's going to say kicking the ball down the throat of the Canterbury fullback is mistake to make it.
It is, but that's actually I'm thinking I'm got to go game.
Oh, you actually have gone to the counties game.
Yes, I have gone.
Oh, right. Okay. I think I'll have to take his Coopers away from him and give him the toy.
You will.
No, so with the North Harbour, they were just making errors in their own half when they're trying to exit, and that was a real killer. Just little knock-ons and the like, and I'm not under pressure either. They went under pressure and they'd make a simple mistake, and that's really what let Canterbury into the attacking half and to score points. But otherwise, I thought if they didn't make those little errors, and obviously as the competition goes on, that will disappear from the game. They're going to be strong. They're strong.
Now, one of the points about it also is look, when you take off Brett Cameron and you bring on Richard Moanga, that's a hell of an upgrade.
Yep.
They are both All Blacks.
Yep.
Definitely, there's a different level of All Black. The bench that Canterbury could bring on, and basically Harbour just couldn't bring on the same kind of level and tired.
Yeah, they're absolutely right, and that's what we were expecting. Was the fact is that once Canterbury's bench came on, that they would sort of get stronger and stronger. But at the end of the day, if you're a Harbour player and supporter, you're still going to be kicking yourself, because it was still at the end of the day the errors in your own half that allowed them to build that momentum. And as they did, I mean, obviously then Harbour's chasing the game, and the errors, they compound. And Canterbury take advantage of them. But look, even with them rolling on their big guns off the bench and that, Harbour went far away.
No, thank you to Harbour for the chocolate fish and chips that I got as well. Not real fish and chips, just chocolate fish. Chocolate fish and chips as my dinner there. We're also going to bring you culinary updates about the different provinces. What you get at each ground.
What the media gets at each ground, because he's media.
Yes,
we're media, but he's media.
I'm real media.
He's there.
I actually go there. Thank you for that, guys, and also access to the interviews. A couple of good interviews. Do check out the Facebook page, New Zealand Sports Radio. We had post-match interviews with Sam Ward. I've gone blank as who the player was.
Don't say Will Jordan.
No, I didn't have Will Jordan at that one.
No, not that one. No. Good, okay.
But Sam Ward, the county's assistant coach, was good enough to have a chat after that one. So that was Friday night. Moving on to Saturday, Waikato versus Wellington, 53-28. Wow. Now, an interview that I did but forgot to press record for was with Andrew Strawbridge, who is the head coach for Waikato. And I said, look, real statement result here. And he said, yes, result, but not game. He didn't think that they really were 53 points. 53 points up over Wellington. And that, yes, they got the points, not saying it, but he wasn't entirely happy with how they were playing.
Now, I didn't see the second half because I was lighting the chimney to start my charcoal barbecue. So I missed part of the second half there. So when I came back and I saw the score, I was rather surprised. But then later on, caught up with a bit more information around the game. And it's like Waikato scoring a couple of late tries to sort of blow the score out of it.
Yeah, but in the first half, Waikato dominated that first half. Right?
They did. After Wellington scored the first try.
Yeah, when you scored the first
the
try,
bus going over for the first try coming back.
Absolutely. So they had about 3 or 4 entries into the Wellington 22 and didn't come away with points. Right. Wellington had 3 entries into the Waikato 22, and off the back of 2 scrums and a line out, scored 3 tries. And that's the only reason. Wellington were very clinical in that first half, but they did not create much. They didn't have much ball at all. Whereas Waikato created lots, but actually couldn't finish any of it. So that's why they were only 23-21 up. That game should have been 40 or 20 by half time and be dead. So basically, just in the second half, Wellington just weren't as clinical, so couldn't keep up with the scoring, and that's why Waikato went ahead and won it, really.
Maybe because they don't have all the PPE gear.
Deary me. And one of the points that's good, a theme that comes across a lot of the games, and Ashwin's going to talk about next, probably in the Otago Auckland games. That's one I've not seen. Is you've got to remember here is that look, that Wellington team is going to get a lot better. They've had a whole bunch of North-South players come back, All Blacks come back. They've had two training sessions, and got into this game, so they were totally disjointed. Whereas you look at a Waikato team, you look at a North Harbour team, and you go, okay, who have they got back? They've got two players back in Anton Brown and David McKenzie. All the rest of the players have actually been able to train together, and they're not one of the three Auckland sort of counties, Auckland and North Harbour, who have been restricted on their training because of the COVID lockdown recently. So they've actually had more time playing together, so they're more up to speed. Are they fully up to speed like a normal preseason? No, but they're a bit more up to speed. We'll talk about counties later, but counties, their very first line-out session was on the Thursday before the game on Saturday. That's why you'll see a lot of disjointed play this weekend that you wouldn't normally expect to see.
Are we moving on to the next game now?
Moving on to the Otago versus Auckland.
Right. So I've finished I've cooked my meat. I've had I've had the chops, I've had the sausages, and I'm settling down for Auckland Otago. And really, I mean, interesting, Paul, just with the lineouts there. I don't know if Auckland won a lineout in the game, tell you the truth. Lenny Apasai, who, as a Blues supporter, you've seen him have massive struggles with lineout throwing in during the Super Rugby season. He hasn't fixed it. And then you sort of like, he goes off with a 20 to go, I think, or something thereabouts. Replacement hooker comes on, and he's just as accurate. So I think there could be an element of players coming in, or, as I said, that short, limited sort of training time, because honestly, Auckland, I don't think, as I say, I can't remember a line out going well. I lie, because their first try was off a drive. But, that aside, there was that could have been a big blowout, that game. Auckland were always on top. They always quite dominant. Otago having had a lot of the ball in that first half, but just went nowhere. The defence for Auckland was able to just basically keep them out. Otago's got problems this season. I think, when you look at a game we'll come to later, the last game of the round with Southland upsetting Hawke's Bay, they're going to have a good ding dong battle with Southland, basically, because as I said, they really didn't bring much to the table at all. Auckland looked disjointed but comfortable, even though they looked disjointed. That could have been quite an ugly score if Auckland had have actually played a bit more pattern rugby. One of the things frustrating watching as an Auckland supporter was that there wasn't a lot of pattern amongst the Auckland game. They were really just sort of trying stuff, for want of a term.
This comes down to at least half that Auckland team were in the North-South game. Yeah. Right? So again, they're just not trained. They played in 3 different teams in about 4 different weeks. Patterns. Which day of the week is it? Which pattern are we supposed to be doing? And that's why we'll get on to the Northern again. It's why the fact that the Northern managed to pull out a training ground move first time try was like, whoa, where did that come from? We've not been. You won't have seen many training ground moves first phase plays this weekend because they've just not had time to do it. Remember, this Auckland team is also going to lose. I think they had like 7 All Blacks.
The only one that wasn't playing was Patrick, I think, off the top of my head. So
they're going to lose 6 of them players after next week. So they'll have next week, and then they'll be gone. So so it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to a couple of sides like Tasman, like the
Canterbury, Tasman, Auckland, and Wellington as well. I suppose, but
maybe to them,
not as much.
Basically, are going to be totally different sides between week 2, and week 3. Yeah, it's going to change massively for them. Good.
I have to go back. Just. I mean, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of Ricky Swannell as a commentator, and so I'm not seen as being sexist. And by saying that, is he dag? I mean, is this jobs for boys or something? Because honestly, it's like he is not a rugby commentator. No, and it's just like it's frustrating when you're having to listen to that, and then him and Justin Marshall going, "Oh, the referee's on the wrong side of the scrum, and how can he adjudicate on the Otago team collapsing the scrum from the other side?" It's like about 10 meters from the sideline, 10, 15 meters from the sideline. He's asked the touch judge to stand opposite and give him feedback. It's really obvious. And for All Blacks to not sort of to berate the referee because he's not standing in the right position to make that call was really dumb, when he's obviously come around the one side of the scrum because the touch judge can see the other side of the scrum. It's really obvious, and it's just like dumb comments like that is what we were having to put up with in that game. It's just like frustrating. Yeah. So no, look, just so I'm not sexist here, is he Dag commentator? Yeah, nah.
Well, he's not supposed to be commentating, but he's supposed to be an expert, summarising expert. But anyway, there's lots of comments. Again, I missed this game, but he got lots of comments on social media saying how awful Izzy Dag was. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to do to up his game there. I then was in the car during that game and arrived in time for the Counties Manukau versus Tasman game.
Where Will Jordan was.
Where Will Jordan was, yes. And I'll be honest, you didn't really see much of Will Jordan in this game. You saw a lot more of Trevor Rees and Mark Talia, who both had really good games, but you didn't see much of Will Jordan. The first half, look, Counties were in this one leading at half-time close at half-time 17-21. Not quite leading, sorry, but definitely in the game in this one. It was, you can tell me, Tasman, again, another one of these sides goes to the corner. Counties taking their threes and building a score. So, which I know you disagree with, the different sides doing different things. Again, Waikato just beat Wellington. Waikato taking their threes, building a score, keeping the score ticking over. Wellington only going for sevens. It's two different philosophies. We're going to see that throughout the tournament, I think.
No, the reason why I disagree with that is that, like, you know, against certain teams, it's like, you know, Tasman's always going to go for sevens. You're always going to go for sevens. And therefore, if you want to keep up with them, you're going to have to go for sevens as well. That's the way that I'm sort of looking at it. So
I think it comes down to how good is your line-out more. If you're the Brumbies, or you never kick threes, right? But they do have one of the best line-out mauls in the world. So it's going to come down to how well do you trust your line maul. Waikato, for example, played 5 loose forwards. They didn't have 2 fit locks this weekend.
That sounds a familiar story in that Hamilton area.
Well, yes,
no fitlocks.
So they played. I say they played 5. They played 5 loose forwards. So you might think, yeah, maybe going for line-out mauls not a great idea with that kind of setup. So So anyway, that's that side of things. And then in the second half, basically they ran out of steam. They started getting a bit tired, and therefore not executing properly. Kicking down the throat of Trevor Rees, of Will Jordan.
Well, I mean, the kicking, I mean, I know what you mean in terms of as the game wore on, especially that last 20, they're a bit more tired, etc. But the kicking was rubbish from the start. They were kicking down their throat of the Tasman. They weren't kicking the ground. It was basically straight to the man. So there's like, they're just taking the ball and running straight forward back at them. So it was right through the game. And that's where, I mean, like, I can't, they had Stephen Bates there and some other guy that I don't know who was. I didn't recognize the voice, but he was calling it accurately. It was just they're dumb. They're kicking the ball straight down to the dangerous weapons and Rees, Talia, and Jordan. But not only that, but they're not only just kicking down to them, they're kicking straight to them as well.
Yeah, I guess it became more noticeable in the second half when the kick chase was a lot slower because they're more tired. Talking about it with the head coach after the game. Again, check out that video on New Zealand Sports Radio of that interview. But he was like, look,
yeah, it was Kate Haynes.
They liked. He actually said, look, they were trying to do the right thing. They just weren't. They were just executing it badly. So he doesn't want to get too much down on them because they're at least they're doing the right options. He just wants them to execute better.
But disappointing in someone like Baden Kerr, who's now really an experienced footballer. One kick that I remember vividly, I think it might have been the one where Will Jordan got the try through obstruction. It was, Baden Kerr looks, he has time, he surveys the where he's going to kick the ball to. That's how much time he has. He kicks it straight to Will Jordan. And then Will Jordan uses a bit of a shepherd and screen to get round so that Papali'i can't tackle him. And who I think he set Talia away.
I thought he went all the way himself. I can't remember.
No, he didn't go. He didn't score himself. No, he passed it.
And we've also urban legend,
urban myth. Kieran Reid played for counties. It's an urban myth. As someone that looked like Kieran Reid.
Ledger the 12 also was
Auburn Ledger.
Auburn Ledger, thank you. I'm trying to think, it's not Heath Ledger, that's the actor.
Yeah. Don't go there. Don't go there.
So yeah, he's king as well. So I'm not sure I fully agree with the head coach, but that's what the head coach said. I think, as Stephen Harris has been saying, kicking over the sidelines is a better option rather than trying to kick in field to those guys. So
well, find grass at least.
Oh yeah, find grass. Yeah,
not grass. Yeah.
Kieran Reid, 40 minutes the first half. If you're wondering why did he leave at half time, it's because that was what his Japanese club said he could play. It was 40 minutes. Actually, at half time,
is he allowed to play another 40 minutes?
He's allowed to play another 40 minutes. Then, so he plays for 2 weeks, has a week or two off, comes back for another 2 weeks. He's not going to be available for the full season. But you could tell this is a team that we know only started practicing lineouts on Thursday. In the first half, when Kieran Reid's on, the lineout worked. In the second half, when Kieran Reid wasn't there, it didn't, which shows you the impact that having him on there.
But not just at lineout time around the field too, massive, I mean, like you could just see it. He was like, and the guys were listening to him too. It's not like it was that absorption of the information that Kieran Reid was there, and it's working. And I think the great thing for Kieran Reid or the counties team in particular is the fact that because it is building confidence in the guys. Here's an All Black telling us what to do, and it's working. We got to listen even more. Got to do even more, and it sort of had that sort of perpetuating type effect on it, sort of thing. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yep, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And which is good to see it's working in that way. Talking to some of the head coaches, some of the coaches after the Farah Palmer Cup ones, where they've got the Black Ferns playing in the team. They're saying, look, sometimes they have to get the other players to try and step up rather than sort of rely on, that's a Black Fern, we'll let her do it, kind of thing. Well, so it's good to see that in the Kieran Reid situation, he's building other people up rather than being. Yeah,
it's a really good. It's a really good observation because the fact is that he was providing leadership, right? He's providing leadership and giving that confidence to the players to do it, not sort of having to take on the mantle himself and do everything himself. Is actually, as I say, giving opportunity to them to actually improve the game and how to improve their game on the field, in the game. So yeah.
Some questions from the live chat notes there. Did Adam Thompson go well? That's obviously a Waikato game.
So Adam Thompson does when he scores a try.
Is it?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay.
With the apparently he goes to more games than I do.
Yeah, I'm there. I just play on my computer. I have to tweet.
Minesweeper. I don't know. How did he go? Actually, I didn't see as much of the game as you did.
He scored.
He scored a try. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he scored a try. Yeah. No. Look, he went okay. Didn't stand out though for me. Yeah. I think they'll be managing his minutes. I don't think he'll be having. He's getting on a bit, isn't he?
Well, yeah, getting on. We'll come to people getting on later, won't we?
Will we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jason Rutledge, 42. But I mean, talking of players that went well, and Aaron saying so Dalton, he definitely went well for counties. Immense, absolutely immense. He was all over the field. Obviously, someone that Kieran Reid didn't have to give so much tutelage to. His defensive work was good. His player support work was good. He's making an absolutely fantastic addition to the county side. In the fact that he's consistent. His error rate is low. He did make one high tackle at not a great time in the match to make it, sort of thing. So, but other than that, his error rate's low, and he sort of like really delivers in terms of his core tasks and core roles, and on top of that as well. So no, he was impressed by his play. He'll be one of the players that unfortunately counties lose.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only player the county picks up, I think. To be fair,
they lose Joelle and Jonah as well.
Sorry?
Oh no, sorry. I was getting a head knock, and I went back a few years.
I'm
concussed.
You're concussed.
I need an HIA.
We think that every morning. The county. But yeah, again, another one of where Tasman bring on the bench, counties bring on their bench, and it's not the same as well.
Yeah, no, but I have to say one player I was impressed with. Is that Kieran Reid only got 40, but the player that replaced Kieran Reid, absolutely barnstorming second 40 he had. I think again there was like the North Harbour Canterbury game where just unfortunate couple of errors that sort of that they made, and counties were similar. And the fact is that they just made a couple of really poor. I mean, like the commentators is Sam Sneed, the six, I think, is for he's sort of got the old hair dye thing happening as well. But you know, he was like so Jekyll and Hyde. He was either absolutely fantastic or giving away dumb, stupid penalties and or little knock-ons, which didn't need to happen, sort of thing. So, yeah, I think counties, they could have probably put a bit more pressure on Tasman towards the end of the game if they weren't taking wrong options or making little errors.
Yeah, which I think, again, comes down to tiredness, pressure, and all that kind of all those things. Valami Tulani was the eight that replaced Kermit you're talking about. They also picked up a try as well. According to my notes, got a try.
You got a try. Yes, he did get a try. Yeah, I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
According to my notes, and I was there, so I saw it happen. I didn't check the Tribe Sports app afterwards because I was looking the wrong way. Never do that, folks. Never, absolutely not. I forgot some food.
What did you forget? Oh, food.
So
you got a burger, Coke, and.
Do you mind?
Oh, sorry, you got a burger, Coke. Well, I saw your picture.
Yeah, but I'm going to talk about other things first.
Okay.
Wind back because I forgot to do the Waikato. So yeah, Waikato. As normal, bottle of Coke, ham and pineapple pizza, and a pack of chips. So that was nice from them.
Ham and pineapple pizza. Oh yeah. The chat's going to go mental, man. Pineapple on a pizza. I love it, but you know.
Actually, it might just be. I think no, sorry, rephrase. Just ham pizza. I wish it didn't have pineapple.
Okay.
I am a pineapple on pizza person as well.
Okay.
So yeah, just ham pizza. There. Counties got a food voucher for a burger, chips, and can of Coke, rather than a bottle of Coke. Slightly difference there between Waikato and counties. And because they had a burger ban, I know that means the other grounds could have had food kiosks as well. Hint Northland.
That makes Steve sad.
That makes Steve sad. He was one that sit next to me. My stomach rumbled all afternoon.
No, Princess.
So yeah, so counties. There. Look again, decent showing but faded.
Just again with Aaron in the comments, there is like 11 players extra to be picked as well. So that is going to be testing the depths, and as well as we're having TJ Perinara and Cody Taylor also basically aren't too sure whether they will commit to going on the tour as well. So that could be going even deeper into picking players.
Well, sure, if they don't go on tour, they're available for Mitre 10 Cup.
They are, but then I'm just sort of saying other players getting pulled out as well. So yeah. James Parson might be back on the radar.
He was commentating on the radio today with Nigel Yeldon.
Oh, okay. Was he up there?
No.
From the Sky Sports studio.
Yes, but for the Southland game.
Right.
So as we drove back, I don't know who was doing the radio commentary for the Northland game, but as Steve mentioned, Steve and I went up to Northland today for the Farah Cup and Mitre 10 Cup games up there. So Northland versus Manawatu in that one. Oh,
you didn't want to go over the Farah Cup game first?
No, I'm doing all Mitre 10 Cup games. I'm going to chuck you out into the Farah Cup games.
Okay. All right.
While you go, because you can go to bed and get ready for bed. It's late for you, I know already. Just a small note. Congratulations, Dwayne Polivito. Regular on our Driving Moors show on a Monday evening at 8 p.m. So do join us for that show tomorrow night. We'll be talking about all the rugby things apart from what's on the pitch. We'll also talk a bit about Mitre 10 Cup as well, but we won't go through game by game like we are tonight.
You got Dwayne on the show?
I hope so.
Yeah, see how he's.
You can catch my chat with him after the game, where I finish it by going, "Oh look, Kieran's available. Sorry,
see ya." Burn.
So,
but the burn was on him because he ran out of space to record it.
Then I recorded Kieran Reid and my memory ran out. So, sorry, folks, we won't get. We don't have Kieran Reid on videos. We do have lots of other post-match interview videos from that game. So congratulations to Dwayne on his contract down there in Tasman and for the win at the weekend. Go on for the second half. He knows he's down there as the backup scrum half. So it was great to see that there. Northern versus Manawatu. Boy, this was you have a game of two halves, right?
Game of two quarters.
This was a game of 1 quarter and 3 quarters.
3 quarters, yeah.
So first quarter, Northern come out and just can't do anything right, which leads to a 3-20 lead for Manawatu after 18 minutes. It was we're running at well over points a minute here, folks. We're looking at thinking like, okay, this is going to be an 80, 100 odd point game. This because it was just crazy scoring there, and we had a disallowed try soon afterwards. Northern got their act together to a certain degree. Let's be clear here that they were not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they did get themselves back on track. Got themselves a line out more try disallowed, but under penalty advantage. Took the penalty, had another line out more and scored a try. So they didn't actually lose any points there because of that. Knock then also had a fantastic run after Goodhue came in.
Miracle offload.
Lovely inside ball. Oh, miracle offload. Okay, because that's the only thing that Jack Goodhue does. Miracle offload from Jack Goodhue to Knock, runs through and scores, and suddenly it's 17-20.
So there's a bit of a knock-on effect.
What? There was no knock. But Manawatu took control of the game again, had themselves a long-range penalty, missed it, and then suddenly, straight after that, give a penalty. There's a line out, fairly innocuous line out in the. Early injury, unfortunately, to hip
First
kiss.
five.
Yeah, the first 5. I think it's hip kiss. Got knocked out, so we're not likely to see him next weekend. By the way, he'll probably be Hawkins. Sorry, which saw
Daniel Hawkins. Yep.
Daniel
Hawkins. Yep.
Which saw Wise Guy Fiani, younger brother of TJ Fiani, come on. Now he had one penalty kick to the corner, and he kicked to the grandstand side. Came up short. It was not a good pun. Came up short and got caught. Has another opportunity again. Kicks to the grandstand side, and we're like, what's he doing kicking that way? He knows that's into the wind. He's not going to make it. He doesn't. He bounces the ball and it bounces into touch. He didn't try to chew off too much. And all the Manawatu players were like, "Oh my God, he's kicked it over there in front of us." We thought he was aiming for the sideline here, where we'd have caught it. So yeah,
didn't pick that up on TV actually.
Didn't you?
No.
Oh, it was. They definitely got away with that one. But from that line out, they pulled off a fantastic move.
You missed one thing that happened though.
What?
Because the ball went out to touch and the referee called for half time.
Oh really? I didn't. I missed that.
I don't know. So there was like a halftime whistle blow, and I was sort of thinking maybe because it bounced into touch, he sort of said, but it hasn't been touched, so then it doesn't make a difference, right? Yep. If it had been touched, then it was half time, but it's not touched, so it doesn't matter that it bounced in. And it's like, I'm pretty sure, and it's like no, it's a penalty. I think it's like, oh, it's a penalty. It's like, oh yeah, line out. So yeah,
little discussion there.
Yeah.
But he was kicking in the wrong direction. Now we know why he kicked that way, because they had a set move set up for the left-hand side of the pitch, and boy did they pull it off well. Threw it over the top, collected by the winger, who makes a break inside to Knock, who gets tackled. Who's then got I've gone blank. Pryor.
Yeah, Cara Pryor.
Cara Pryor. Yeah, not anything.
Yeah.
Not Dan
Not
Pryor.
Dan Pryor. No, Cara
Pryor on his shoulder, running a great support line. Takes the ball down and through scores. Cara Pryor, someone who was not in the squad until Northland had an internal warm-up game and injured both their open sides.
Oh,
oops. And then Pryor got drafted in. Again, another one of these players not expected to be available because he was playing in Japan. suddenly is playing club rugby and is available, and hence gets
silver lining of COVID.
Exactly.
So look at the positives.
And suddenly, suddenly you've gone from a situation where it should have been 17-23 to 22-20 with and Manawatu are going from what's just happened.
What's just happened? Yeah.
There's been sucker punch just on half time, which really does, which is a real tough one for morale and all that kind of stuff. And I'll talk about that with their coach. I'll put that video up later. It's not up yet, folks.
I have to say though, I'm really dubious about any of those line-out moves where the backline player is able to catch the ball off the line-out and whether they're actually back the 10 meters they're supposed to be and not entering until the line-out's over, which means that the ball has to have gone past the 15-meter mark before you can start running towards the line-out.
He started running when the ball was thrown.
Yeah. As I say, I'm really dubious about those ones when they're successful. As successful as that was, this is like because technically you're not allowed to until the line-out's over. You're not allowed to progress forward.
No, absolutely.
And the line-out's not over until it crosses that 15-meter mark.
Correct. But in every single case,
not
just this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not having a go at Northland. I'm just saying that happens all the time. It never gets called. And as I was like, actually no, it did get called in the North-South match for Bowden Barrett when the try got disallowed. It was a quick throw in by the South. But anyway, we won't digress onto that.
Okay.
Because otherwise,
So great move there. Come out, score the first points of the second half, and basically don't look like losing from there really. To be fair, Manawatu did get within 3 points, but through a couple of penalties, but they needed to be scoring tries and you felt those little penalties were just keeping them just in the game. But you always felt that especially on the 69th minute when they scored the we've got to go back to Tompkins in a week. When they scored that the line-out more try, that it became obvious. There was a disallowed try for a quick throw in. Now, Scott Gregory, what were you doing? The ball's being kicked. You try to throw the ball to keep it in. You somehow throw it forward and out, which was just okay. It's not going anywhere near where you're trying to do.
Happened a couple of times recently.
But because you've touched it and tried to keep it in, you've given them the throw in. Otherwise, you were going to have the line out. I think. It
was debatable whether the ball would have gone out, or whether the players might have got on. The Manawatu players would have got there. Sort of thing to put some pressure on, possibly. So there was it was a bit 50-50, but the wise thing would have been to either, if you want, take the ball, go out, but don't try and flick it in where you don't know where your players are, where the opposition players are, sort of thing. So that
allowed the opposition then to do a
quick forward pass throw in.
It was a quick one that didn't go 5 meters.
Oh, is that what the ruling was?
Yes.
I thought it was the fact that it was forward. Like, it was just marginally forward.
So through the line, it didn't go 5 meters. They went and scored a try, and it got called back. So that was that was one of those ones where you're like, Scott really got away with one there. There were a couple of situations like that for Northland. In this one where they got away with things. Dodged a bullet. Oh, I forgot to ask Alan. Sorry.
Alan.
Not Alan. Michael. Sorry, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so he did a pass through his legs. Great for a prop. Not seen that before by a prop. So it was
from Carlos.
He's not a prop.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah.
So they went on to win that one. Yeah. So and the last 20 minutes of that game was really hairy and scary. Both sides throwing the ball around as though it really did not matter.
I have to agree with Nocturnal. I think that Scott Gregory needs to actually come in. I think he's got more talent and skill. I mean, he's a sevens player, and every sevens player has to basically have pass skill. They're the whole skill set of passing, running, and kicking sort of thing. So I think he given the chance, he could develop into something in a midfielder, and it'd be handy, as you say, handy for the Highlanders, handy for Northland.
We should get you clicking on those things to share on screen.
Oh, okay.
That'd be cool.
Just do that.
Yeah.
That one there, that comment there.
So the absolutely. And look, when Now Northern obviously have one All Black, Jack Goodhue. When Jack Goodhue goes back to the All Blacks, you might see Rennie Range moving in one and him moving into the 13 jersey, or Scott into the 12th jersey and Rennie Range staying at 13. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, he's another player who's a centre, a bit like Collins, who's a centre who's been made to play.
Michael Collins.
Michael Collins.
Yeah.
He's a centre that's been made to play fullback, etc.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the
Tompkinson.
The Tompkinson. Oh, he was hey, look.
That's a shocker.
The guy was ducking into him and all sorts of stuff.
Simon Hickey was basically down around his ankles, wasn't he? It's just like poor Theo Tompkinson. I mean, he's really gotten a harsh call there, hasn't he?
No,
not at all. No. As Stephen Harris will say, that's a red card every day of the weekend, twice on Sunday.
Absolutely.
The game was on Saturday, but it's just like that's a shocker, and you're sort of thinking, what, 6-7 weeks on the sideline? I mean, like there's going to be a lot of All Blacks missing soon, and I think Theo Tompkinson's going to be missing for a while as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, look, I don't know what Theo Tompkinson's past record's like, so I don't know.
Apparently, he's got a bit of a record, not a major one, not Owen Farrell bad.
Well, okay, so Owen Farrell's got a really bad record,
but not judicial
on Twitter, right?
Yeah,
judicial is actually not too bad.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
only got 2 yellows. So we're going to see. I don't know what Theo Tompkinson's one record is like. If it's bad, then yeah, we are looking at that 7 odd weeks.
Yeah.
If not, it'll get halved down to the 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, right.
We'll see what.
But that's a shocking. That is.
Oh, there's no excuse.
But it's shocking because he's actually tucked the arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's tucked the arm, and then he's basically led in with the shoulder as well. And it's a horrible one. Yeah. I mean, it's what Aaron's saying is just like I on Twitter. I don't know for myself. I can't confirm for myself. But on Twitter, people were going, he's a bit of a serial offender at that. And what they were also saying is the fact is that he really needs to look at his own game, because if he wants to be a mainstay of the Highlanders, he needs to cut all that out. Because no coaching group is wanting to risk a result because you've got a player that does that has that sort of behaviour. Yep. So if that is the case, and as I said on Twitter, people were saying that he has got a bit of history to him, then he really does need to tidy his game up.
Now, you say, he is expected as the hard player of his team. Well, look, there are a couple of things here. Yes, he's known for shooting out and doing hard tackles, right? But tackles involve wrapping your arms and hitting below the shoulders, right? 2 things he didn't do here. One, he was in a shot. He's read for either a shoulder charge or for high hits. In fact, he's read for both.
Yeah.
He got it all kinds of wrong.
He could have got 2 red cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 of a kind.
Look, it's not as bad as that one we saw recently in NRL, but very few tackles are.
Didn't see that one.
Did you see that one? Oh, well, it's a 10 metre.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, but NRL allows shoulder charges anyway.
This was a shoulder charge straight up and through the head.
Oh, right.
From a 10 metre run up. It was
my shocked look.
It was an after 9 o'clock threshold one. That was nasty. So that's that. Yeah, definitely red card. Taranaki.
Oh no, just for as Nocturnal saying, I'm assuming you're talking about the Theo Tompkinson one.
Yeah.
Look, when I saw it live, my son and I turned to each other and go, "That's red." There was straight to the head. So watching it at full speed, I actually thought that it was red card, and especially and then the way that Simon Hickey was basically sort of like dead cockroach on the ground as well, sort of thing. So, yeah.
So Taranaki Bay of Plenty was at the same time as Northern Manawatu, I think. So I've not actually seen that game.
Sorry, which one was it?
Taranaki Bay.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen the Neki game. No.
But I did lose $2 in this one. I very silly. I saw Bay of Plenty as.
He was sitting on the couch last night, and he goes, "This is crazy. They got Taranaki as favourites. This is like went down. This is like, well, they have got Taranaki. That is, they've got 2 Barretts. They've got that new kid that the Chiefs have got in lock. They've got Boshier and so and so are in the back row. Doesn't look too bad."
There you go. What do I know? So Bay of Plenty came up short there. They had Sam Kane.
Yeah, they did have Sam Kane. He made it through the whole game too.
Did he?
Well, I assume he did actually. I'm only making an assumption because I didn't see the game.
So Taranaki won that one. Sorry, folks, just too many games to catch on all of them.
Should have been on Thursday night.
Southland versus Hawke's Bay. So that was a wet game by all accounts. I listened to this one on the radio.
Soggy as.
Did you watch this one?
Yeah, I did watch this one.
Oh, okay.
Very soggy game, and it's classic. You know, if you've ever heard Cornflakes on the show talking about when they had the Shield and the number of games, and he loves talking about the Auckland one down there, and the number of games that they had down there where they basically get a team stuck in the bog in a corner and the team just can't get out, like the opposition team can't get out. Not quite a bog because the field wasn't a bog in there, but very slippery conditions. Basically kick it out of your territory, play the game in the opposition half and wait for their error, and errors came, and yeah, I mean, like second half it felt like Hawke's Bay was just on the try line for the whole game, but little knock-ons here and there, and just basically meant that Southland basically kept getting out of jail time and time again, and then they made it down the other end and they scored a few points, and they did have a chance with about just under 10 to go, and Scott Eade had a chance from about 40 out on the angle. Not an easy kick at all, especially in those conditions, to sort of put it beyond doubt, because it would have been 9 points. And realistically speaking, there was no way that Hawke's Bay would have scored twice. They didn't score once in the end, but to score twice, that would have been a very big ask. He got the distance, but just away to the right-hand side of the uprights. But yeah, it was Hawke's Bay there, and I think, as you do, you just get more and more anxious, and you get the tries not coming. The more anxious you get, the more tight you get, and the little knock-ons just keep coming. But Scott Eade, you'd probably have to say man of the match for the Stags down there. Number of times he kicked from deep in his in goal and got the ball up to 30 and 40 metres out to give them a bit of respite. Ironically, with the last kick of the match, he only managed to get it 5 metres away from the goal line. But after that praise. But at the end of the day, they were able to hold out, and they did well.
We should get Aaron on to talk about the games we missed, because he saw it. Never mind. There you go.
He saw which game?
The Bay of Plenty Zaraki.
Bay of Plenty. No, Simon did.
No, he did. Look, he says, look, new lock Tupu Farah was outstanding for the Naki.
Oh, right.
True. So there we go. Triple T also had a good game, by the way. So look, all the tries scored by hookers, which gives you a good idea that this was basically line out maul, and there was no other way of scoring a try, because you just dropped the ball before that happened. Yeah. So 2 tries for each of the hookers, so congratulations to them, and well done Southland getting that opening.
No, well done to Leicester's son Jason, 42 and rolling out for the Stags again.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, at 42. Apparently the oldest player since some bloke back in 1900.
1900s or 1900?
Hundreds.
Hundreds, okay.
Well, 1900, so that first decade.
Oh, 120 years ago.
Something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, something like that. That's they sort of alluded to some time back then. They didn't say when.
I hope he's getting some good coin, because hey, it's dangerous to his health at that age.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So that's the roundup of all the Mitre 10 Cup action. From the tables point of view, look, this is a 4-try bonus point thing. So you've got Auckland, Waikato, Tasman, Canterbury, all on 5 points in the Premiership. Bay of Plenty pick up two bonus points, one for the tries, one for the losing. Wellington get the one. North Harbour with 0 points at the moment. In the Championships, Northland, Taranaki, and Southland. Sorry, Northland and Taranaki both on 5 points. Southland on 4. Hawke's Bay also picks up a bonus point. Counties Manukau, Manawa 2, and Otago yet to open their accounts.
Who's at the top of the table? In the Premiership?
Auckland.
Oh, Auckland's at the top of the table.
With the 32 points difference.
Oh.
So it's only on points difference at the moment. So look, it's between them, Waikato, Tasman, and Canterbury.
So Auckland are at the top of the table.
Do you want to repeat that a few more times?
I have to say, it was just on Nocturnal's talking about McKelly too. It's like, it would have been after Cornflakes raving on about how good he was, and he was good at Super Rugby level. It would have been a level of irony if he had been on the field and able to score the match-winning try with seconds left on the clock.
Oh, for Hawke's Bay.
Yeah, for Hawke's Bay. But didn't happen.
Nice to have someone joining us from Iceland as well. So it's a nice thing. Got an international.
Ireland.
Oh, Ireland.
Ireland, yeah.
Ireland, sorry.
Should have gone to Specsavers.
Should have got I have taken my glasses. Where are my glasses? Actually? That's a good point. No, they're on the sofa.
Don't sell them.
No, I won't sell them. So yes, that's our roundup of the Mitre 10 Cup. Over to the Farah Palmer Cup. Do you want to go to bed now? Because you haven't seen.
No, that's all right. I'll question you and pretend and ask you questions.
Will you? Okay. So North Harbour lost to Bay of Plenty 17-76. Look, North Harbour very much a new and young outfit that's trying to build up over the next couple of years. They're not expecting to win games this year. One of the big things about the Farah Palmer Cup is they had a Premiership and Championship last year. Now they're going to have a North and South division to save on travel. Interesting story about Wellington's travel in second, which means you've got Premiership and Championship teams mixed up. And those championship teams that just haven't got it. Most of them are going to really struggle this year. North Harbour, one of those. So no big surprise there. Really cool interview with the North Harbour captain. She has just lost by 50 points, but she is so positive in the interview. She's fantastic. So please go check that out on New Zealand Sports Radio. All Blacks captain, gone blank. What's her name?
Richie McCaw.
No.
You said All Blacks.
Blackfern's captain. Blackburn Sevens captain.
Blackburn Sevens captain. Kelly Brazier.
Kelly Brazier also had an interview with her as well.
So just to be clear, she was playing Canterbury last year, right? So she's now playing Blackburn.
Yep.
Yeah, right. But she was Canterbury last year, I think. Off the top of my head.
Well, maybe.
I'll Google it while you carry on.
There you go.
We're Googling.
Well, good luck with that Googling. Waikato then played Taranaki 76-14. Another situation where, look, Taranaki, it's only their second or third season in existence. They're going to struggle against the big sides. So congratulations. So that was kind of an expected result. To be honest with you, stop scrolling down so quickly, and you might be able to see it. Slow down over here on the right hand side.
Oh, over here.
There we go. So they have played since 2017.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, since 20. Oh, okay.
So that's there. Again, two really good interviews after that one. One with actually four really good. We've got the coach as well. One with Stacey Fuller, ex Stacey Wacker, but a really really good one with Gail Burraclough, I think it is, who is the captain of Taranaki, and another Blackburn's Sevens player gone back down there. She's a great chat. Go check that one out. Manawatu Turbos 36 to Canterbury. So again, Canterbury, one of the powerhouses in this competition. Manawatu, also one of the stronger teams, actually, another Premiership team there. So good start there for Canterbury in that one. And yeah, it probably does need to go back to a divisional setup. You're right, Simon. The North-South thing is a travel thing. And I say we'll talk about travel in a second. So Tasman 0, Wellington 62. Again, Premiership Championship team here. Unsurprising there. Wellington got the ferry home from playing
cruising Tasman. On the Inter-Islander.
They got the Inter-Islander ferry home. Well, that's
not Blue Bridge.
They're not flying first class, folks.
No, there's nothing. I mean, but it's a beautiful ferry ride home if it's not choppy.
Look, they should be flying. I'm not saying they should be flying first class, but they should be flying around, not on crazy long coach trips. It basically sounds like every single. The reason they've gone north south is they don't have to take any flights, and it's all coach trips. It's purely a cost saving measure. I understand in the code as to why that is. And look, they've got a full competition, which is good. But I think that's a bit harsh putting them on the ferry after playing a game. Manawatu played better than the scoreline suggests. Thank you for that, Cora. As I didn't catch that game. I wasn't at that one, but Manawatu generally are one of the stronger teams in this in the competition. The one I was at today, Northland versus Auckland. Now Northland, Championship team, only been around for 2 years, up against Auckland, one of the powerhouses, I think second in the table last year in the Premiership, one of the powerhouses of women's rugby. 22-29. This Northland team really, really has stepped up.
Not gone away from drawing the game.
Exactly. They were pressuring Auckland's line at the death. Really could have scored. Could have drawn this game. Massive. So yes, Northland have lost, and they've lost 2 games. Lost to Waikato and they've lost to Auckland. But they played 2 heavyweight championship teams. Sorry, heavyweight Premiership teams they're a championship team, second year of their existence. Sure, they've got Nathan Wong and Portman up there. Portia Woodman, sorry, not Portman, Woodman. Sorry, up there. But look, 2 players doesn't make a team, right? It's lots of other players have stood up as well. So yeah, really great strides forward by the Northland team. They will be getting some wins this season. Yeah, probably against North Harbour, Taranaki, potentially. We'll see how they go against Bay of Plenty as well. But yeah, really well done for them. Again, another game I didn't get to see, but Otago against Hawke's Bay. It sounds like it was a cracker, 29-20, another close one there between Otago and Hawke's Bay. As I say, I haven't seen that one, so can't give you much of an update on that one. After the Northland versus Auckland, we've already got interviews with the coaches up on the site. Stephen had a couple of yes, Savage was had a really good game. You are quite right. I'm trying to remember who Stephen got interviews with, but he's got 2 interviews with players from the Northland versus Auckland game that will go up later on the Facebook page. So what does that mean? That means that currently Auckland are top of the North Division on 10 points, followed by Waikato on 9. They both won both their games. Counties Manukau had a bye this week, but they will be one of the challenging teams as well. They're on 5 points currently.
No, that's what I was trying to think. Geez, how's Counties not at the top of the table?
Yeah,
had a bye.
So Auckland, Counties are going to be one of the teams to beat definitely in that Northland one.
One of the teams to beat. Yeah, Counties is like the Tasman of the women's.
Counties are going to be the team to beat in the north. Auckland and Waikato look like the 2 that probably will challenge them closest.
I mean, just watching that. I mean, obviously it was against the North Harbour, wasn't it? Their first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, but they look so drilled. They look quite, I mean, they would have had limited build. I think they had limited preparation from the interviews that I saw, but they still look so drilled. They look quite cohesive, and it just flowed so well.
Yeah, and look,
I mean, it was against North Harbour.
Was against North Harbour, and one of the things about them is that they pretty much all come from, I think, pretty much one club that plays in the Auckland Women's Club competition. So who that made the final and lost out to Ponsonby in the final during extra time. Yeah, ponies. What a surprise.
No, but I was just going to say, because then like Ruby Tui was playing for Ponsonby, but now playing for Counties in the.
I'm not saying it's not. Sorry, the Counties team isn't entirely one club, but the core of it is.
No. What I mean, I was just like, you got. See, this is the thing where I was just like, some of the old traditional club moving. The club you play for the club and you play for the province. It's all gone by the wayside, and you're seeing it in men's competition as well. It's not just women's. But you got Ruby Tui playing for Ponsonby, an Auckland club, and then goes and plays for Counties. And it's just like, I'd still like to see, even men's and women's side, is the fact is that you need to, if you're going to play for this provincial union, you have to play for a club in that provincial union.
Auckland had to sign off that she was allowed to play for Counties.
Sure.
But there's a bit more to that story.
Right. But wait, there's more.
Not publicly, there isn't.
Yeah.
Moving on to the South Division then. Wellington, Canterbury and Otago all on 5 points at the top there. Yeah, look, Wellington and Canterbury, you've got to say, probably going to be fighting it out there for that one at the moment. So yeah, so a good start for the for both the NPC team game tournaments.
Yep, you can't complain. It's like I was really quite surprised. I mean, I mean, obviously didn't see much of the Farah Palmer at all, but the Mitre 10 Cup games that I did see, the quality is obviously not super rugby level, but actually pretty good. There's some pretty good rugby played over the weekend, and it's great entertainment. It's
great entertainment, absolutely. Yeah, and look, they are going to get slicker. They hardly had any training, so things like lineouts and stuff will improve.
Are you not entertained?
No,
couldn't help myself.
Not by you. Thank you everybody for joining us, watching us, and being active in the chat. It's going to take it all there. Yeah, look, with the what was this weekend? I think it was 14 games. We can't watch every single one, but we try to get around to as many of them as we can. and give you updates on as many of them as well. Do like the New Zealand Sports Radio Facebook page, because that's where you will get all our post-match interviews from the Mitre 10 Cup and from the Farah Palmer Cup. Also, I'll have my predictions up for the Mitre 10 Cup, the Farah Palmer Cup, for the Super Rugby AU final, for the Gallagher Premiership, the Pro 14 is finished, the top 14, all on nzsportsradio.com. So if you are into doing playing prediction games like Super Brew or whatever, then go have a look over there, folks. They will bring up.
He might pick Taranaki this week
on Tuesday or Wednesday. I might pick Taranaki this week. Let's have a quick look then. Next week, Taranaki will be playing. Will be away to Canterbury. I won't be picking.
You won't be. That's a Ranfurly Shield match.
It is a Ranfurly Shield match. Yes. Very good point, actually. So yeah, great to see that game. It'll be wonderful for the Ranfurly Shield to go to Taranaki, to be honest. I'm even though I'm an Auckland fan, I like to see the Shield outside of the big centre. So I like it not being held by Canterbury, Wellington, Auckland in particular, and it moving around. So yes. Did you guys have thoughts on the Pro 14 final in the Northern Hemisphere? My thoughts are no big surprise that Leinster won. And when you're starting Johnny Sexton on the bench, how serious are some of the Leinster taking the Pro 14 final, and is the European Champions Cup more important to them? You've got to say, if you're not starting with your best choice 15, it does leave some question marks around.
Did they win though?
They won, yes.
So they won without their best 15?
They won comfortably.
Without their best 15?
Well, they brought them on, but without starting the best 15.
Yeah.
So you do kind of wonder a bit there too. This is why Pro 14 gets a bit of a
bad rap.
Look, it's a great competition for preparing players for the Ireland national team. Let's be blunt, the Irish national team is fantastic, and also for preparing teams for Europe, where Leinster have gone fantastically and are very good shout for winning that again this year. But as a competition in itself, yeah, there are definitely some question marks there. Disappointed with Ulster, they're showing in the final after a great semi-final. Now, look, one of the things we saw in the Rugby World Cup was we saw teams could get up for a game. Getting up for 2 games consecutively was really hard. We saw the All Blacks have really got up for that Ireland game quarter-final, but the semi-final weren't quite there. England really got up for that semi-final, but weren't quite there for the final. South Africa didn't have to get up for a big game before the final. They got up for that one. So I think there's an element here of getting up for 2 big games on 2 weeks, having 2 finals, back-to-back weekends, mentally and physically, is really tough to do. I think it was Ulster's final last weekend against Edinburgh. Edinburgh only lost 1 home game all season, and that was to Glasgow the week before that, where they were resting rotating players. So that was Ulster's final. When it came to play Leinster, they just mentally and physically, I just don't think could get up for it again.
Is the Pro 14 the one that the South Africans want to join?
The one that South Africans are doing already, yes.
Yeah. Are they playing at the moment? Or obviously not at the moment because they just had a final, but yeah.
No, so on the resumption, so everyone, how it happened for those down here in New Zealand was that they played derbies within their countries. So the Irish teams played 2 games against each other. The Scottish teams played 2 games against the Welsh and the Italians. And the South Africans decided not to play again. They weren't in contention for the finals anyway, and because of COVID restrictions in South Africa, they've not had any rugby down there. So that was how they shortened and finished their season. The top 14, for those of you who want to know, has restarted their next season. They cancelled the last season entirely. So at the moment, we have got the 2020-2021 top 14 happening, as well as the 2019-20 Pro 14 Gallagher Premiership and European Champions Cup overlapping.
Let's back the truck up here. Beep, 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 beep. Yep. So the Pro 14 is different to the top 14.
Top 14 is a French competition.
Right.
Pro 14 is the Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Italy, and South African competition.
And Super 14 doesn't exist.
And the top league is a Japanese competition.
Top league.
Even though they have so Pro 14, top 14, and top league, different countries. Cool.
Thumbs up there.
With a quick summary of what's happening around the world with rugby, Major League Rugby, also kicking off in the new year. That'd be good, like that American competition. Anyway, major digression. I need to go and drive back down to Hamilton. Thank you, everybody. Absolute pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can listen to us on the go as a podcast as well. Just search for New Zealand Sports Radio on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all of those wonderful podcasting places. And he's waving. He's not doing his bloody producing bit.